All right, well, welcome back to another day of Nintendo. So, one of the biggest problems on the Switch has been third-party support. So, past year, remember all those great third-party games came out? I know everyone else is. Will we ever see them again? What are we missing?
Let's see. Grand Theft Auto. Maybe Red Dead. I'm not. I always thought
Fallout.
of. I thought of Red Dead. Yeah, Fallout's a big one. Red Dead I consider GTA on a horse.
Do we still want
Um,
the Fallout game after all the trouble?
Well, what about the
not
last older ones?
76, not
Oh, that's
76.
right. Oh,
Fallout
that's right.
4 would have been nice.
Yeah, or even
But
even like a trilogy of the
The first
the old
three?
ones. That's where I think the Switch could really shine with third parties, especially it being a low risk for them. Would be release either big selling titles from the past or collections. Um,
Yes.
of just, hey Nintendo, here's some of the things you've missed over the last 5 to 10 years. Um,
25 to 30.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, well, Sega's got you covered there with their new collection.
Yeah,
It's like this holiday
Kind of
season. But yeah,
touching back to one of our earlier days where we were talking about not recommending the Switch as a console. This really, for Nintendo fans, there's so many games that you've seen come up and say, "Oh, I want to play that game," and then you realize it's never coming to Switch.
yeah.
They could make a lot of money offering those games now because I know most people are loyal to Nintendo and have still not bought those games.
and stuff that missed the Wii and the Wii U is fair game because this is now the third generation in a row where not only is Nintendo the oddball, but Nintendo is the underpowered console.
Yeah.
And so there's just stuff that we couldn't get that generation, but now it's been a generation or two and Nintendo is caught up. And so now they could port that stuff.
Sadly,
Right.
my most anticipated has been the Disney Afternoon Collection, which I've been getting Twitter alerts that, hey, the Disney Afternoon Collection is down to $4 on PlayStation from like 15 or 20. And
Dude,
it's
that rolls
it's
into
not
a
coming.
future pod, little mini cast about, why Nintendo drove me to hack the Mini.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much good stuff, but we do have Doom, which just got an update, added some video capture. Like that's one that nobody really saw coming, and we're
Diablo
happy to
3.
have. Yeah,
You know.
Bethesda's been decent, with some of their stuff. Elder Scrolls.
They're the
Some of that stuff's
Ubi.
coming.
They're the Ubi this
Hopefully more
generation.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
But what worries me the most is we saw this on the Wii U, right out of the gate. And I brought up before, I picked up a lot of these when they were $8 and $10 on Amazon later. But right out of the gate, there was tons of third-party support. There was all sorts of stuff. And now, and then 6 months later, there were a few more things trickling out, and then it just stopped. And it kind of feels like, the flow has been cut off on the Switch. Last Christmas, we saw a bunch of, third-party, a bunch. We saw a handful of third-party AAA titles, ports.
We saw
old
3.
ports.
Oh.
Well, no, Skyrim,
Yeah.
LA Noire, Doom, and then the 2 Resident Evils. So 5 are those are the only
I mean,
ones I can think
they're
of.
putting some stuff here and there, and
You also have the
hopefully,
unique ones like the Mario and Rabbids.
yeah.
But there should have been more this year, not less, and there was less.
Yes.
There was a
Yeah.
lot less, and that's the wrong direction, and that means something is terribly wrong. There's no, you know what I mean? It's not nobody. There should be some games this Christmas. If
Yeah,
it
there
was,
definitely should have been.
if it was, things, development delays and whatever, there should still be some fucking games this Christmas. There's nothing from the third party that I can think of. What do we got?
Well, there were
Diablo
some.
was early. What do we get?
There was Diablo. Dark Souls was a little early. Civ 6 came out not long ago.
Oh, okay. I forgot
City
Civ 6.
Skylines.
Starlink came out not long ago.
Katamari Damacy.
I'm back up. I'm
That's a-
talking AAA. Katamari I picked
wait,
up
what
and
did
I'm
Max
excited
say?
about. But
That's a game. Katamari Damacy Reroll came out, and that's a game that I never thought I would play on a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
yeah, don't get me wrong. There's cool stuff.
Yeah, some of these
Wolfenstein 2
games
was
are
earlier
games
in the
my
year.
other friends have told me are awesome years ago. Like
Here's what we're
Katamari.
Like, we're missing the big licenses. We're missing the big Spider-Man and Star Wars and
Madden.
Madden's and yeah, exactly. All the big franchises that have been staples on every console for years and used to be staples on Nintendo consoles. They're just not here.
Although
we
when
get
they
the
get here,
Legos.
we're going to complain about how they've been monetized to death.
Sure. Don't get me wrong. It's a mixed bag because do you really want the new Battlefront?
There's
I don't
some
know.
things we've been sheltered from in our Nintendo environment.
yeah.
Do we
Agreed.
want Overwatch and Call of Duty? Like, what do we?
I would have liked Overwatch.
The options, the option. The problem with Call of Duty is if you don't have the newest, best one, there's not going to be anyone outside of the Nintendo Switch environment playing.
And that was the problem on Wii U is that they put all those out at launch, and people would go on servers and not be able to find matches.
Yeah.
So I get that. I understand that certain things that won't work and don't fit the general Nintendo player base, but Overwatch was a much more, not to say casual game, but had a broader appeal than, say, a Call of Duty.
And that's what they need to look at is those evergreen titles like that. The people that, even though it came out a while back, people are still playing it.
And that's obviously what they have been with like Skyrim, and they figured Doom is one of those. Rocket League, yeah, exactly. They know Fortnite's going to be sticking around a while, so they're hanging their hat on some of these things. But these are still not the new Spider-Man. They're not the new.
No, but that is a Sony exclusive.
No, don't. I mean, but right.
But games of that caliber.
Or the new Batman. Did we get the new Arkham whatever? Like, we don't, right? We just don't get that stuff. And those are the things. Yeah. We get the next version of Tetris.
The new Marvel game, which looks a little bit different tier to me, but
it looks like a 3DS port.
Yeah.
The outline
and
around
that's the thing that 3DS used to get was those weird games that are console exclusive. They might have been like, let's put this out on 3DS. Like, 3DS really is kind of dying down. I guess we'll just bump it up to Switch. Give it a little coat of paint.
Alrighty. Well, there are definitely a lot of third-party games we'd like to see, and maybe someday we'll get them. There is a new year coming up, and there is a lot of stuff coming out next year, so hopefully someday our dreams will come true.
We'll hear nothing till E3.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in for another day of Nintendo. So we'll be coming back at you tomorrow, so be sure and tune in. All right, welcome back to another 12 days of Nintendo. So, kind of following up from our topic that we've already aired, the significance of free-to-play games on the Switch. For me personally, this is something that has recently come to light as I was asked to choose my game of the year. And I realized there really wasn't one, except for these free-to-play games like Fortnite and Warframe. And now my console would be unused without them.
Pokemon Quest.
Nobody's playing that. I have seen a few things where people are like, my kids really love this Pokemon Quest, but I have not had anybody liking that one. But yeah, Fortnite's huge. they got in within 6 or 7 months of the actual release of that battle royale. So Nintendo, for once, was right there in the mix. Um, that's what Nintendo needs. Stuff like that. That's easy access. Warframe, it looks all right. It's okay. I know, Jason, you and Max have been into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a different game, I
Yeah.
think, than Fortnite or from Paladins or some of the other ones. And it's a nice change. It's a nice option to have, and it looks pretty good on Switch, I think.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I haven't played Paladins yet, but that's one of the freebies too. Don't forget Color Zen.
Yeah, great graphics on that one.
Yes. I don't know how they pulled that off on Switch.
Solid colors have never looked so sharp on a portable screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to see some of this support. If we're not getting the major third-party titles from these huge developers, we are getting, of course, I mean, I guess some of these are huge developers now, but I'm glad that we have something to play. And this makes up for all of those little games Nintendo used to put out that no longer seems to be happening.
Yeah, it seems like Nintendo's kind of had mixed bag success when they've tried it. Like we've all mentioned billions of times how much we love Sub Wars,
Mhm.
which was kind of a free to play. But then when they tried to kind of keep it going, they picked weird stuff like Pushmo, which, if you remember, I was a big fan of Pushmo and bought Pushmo and whatever the other one was, Stretchmo, right?
Crashmo.
Crashmo. But I when they came out with the free to play one, I was just like, nah, I'm okay with not continuing. Which really, that was almost more of a demo, more than a free to play, because that's how Nintendo did it. Was this is kind of a demo, and then if you want, you can actually buy the full game for this amount.
And that's the other thing. There are some demos out there which are free to play and can give you a little bit of experience playtime too. I know my kids have. There's a couple of demos that they keep going back to and keep playing.
Puyo Tetris is basically free to play if you get that demo.
That is a really lengthy full version demo.
There's quite a bit to the Octopath Traveler demo too. A few of the others, like I said, one they keep going back to is ARMS. Went back to Robonauts for quite some time and kept playing that one. Get some play out of some of these, and then you've got the other things too, like the Zen Pinball, which starts out with just a handful of tables for free, and then you have
How did we
to
forget
buy
about
extras,
that? Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Zen has given me many hours.
There is some variety there.
Yeah, in which I've put $0 into, but completely enjoyed.
That's another thing too that I guess Nintendo is getting money. We know at least through Fortnite that the console is getting a cut of that.
Ours.
Yeah. But I'm finding because Nintendo has had a lack of third-party support and had a lack of continuous, titles that we want to play. They have had some this year. I feel more inclined to put money into the free-to-play games because I'm investing a much more significant amount of time into those.
Yeah, I mean, you've got as much time in Fortnite as you've got in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, which
You're
is
Mr. Splatoon.
Yeah, it's something really surprising to me. It's been a lot of fun.
And you've probably still put less money into Fortnite than you've put into Splatoon 2.
Probably
just
so.
Bought the $60 investment, So yeah, it's a good way, and maybe Nintendo needs to look at these free to plays and start actively courting more of them as another possible revenue stream. I'm sure Fortnite's gonna have them thinking, like, it's just free money. Like, we just let people download this game and we're making I mean, I would be really interested to see how much money Nintendo has made off of Fortnite versus some of their own first party titles.
Yeah.
It certainly has to be outselling some of them.
And you bring up another good point for Nintendo is of course, the online service that they've recently started, but we still see a lot of server issues with things like Smash and even some with Splatoon. This is taking that worry off of Nintendo's shoulders. We've got people playing online on someone else's servers, and you're still making money.
Yeah, and I've had a great time with the servers for the most part on Fortnite.
Yeah, it's been pretty reliable. I've not had any. I don't think I've had a crash or an error at all in Warframe.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I've not taken that one online yet.
But with Warframe, it's only 4 people playing at a time.
That's true.
100 people or.
It's not a free to play, but one thing I noticed is when they went with the Rocket Passes for Rocket League, it seemed like the connection time slowed down for me. It just took longer to find matches.
To get into a match, I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to think of Rocket League as a free to play, but then I remember I did purchase it.
Yeah, Rocket League would be great with a free to play model, but it's the problem now of you've got people who've bought the game for whatever it is, $20 and bought stuff, and now what do you do for those people if you were to make it free to play? What do you do for those people? And it is kind of nice to know that you're in a game where people do have a little bit of skin in the game because they've put that money down and made the initial investment to play. I remember there was an entertainer I liked who had his own forum on his own website, and to participate in his forum, he made you donate $1 to charity. So to participate in the forum, you had to put that $1 into the system, because he said he finds that that's the way to weed out a lot of the bad eggs, is they're not even willing to put the $1 down so they can shitpost on your forum. So, you get a lot more people in Fortnite that are just standing around doing nothing than you do in a Rocket League, although you still have occasional ones in Rocket League, but most people are at least trying to play, even if it's bad.
That said, I've heard that in terms of, the community attitude in Rocket League not being as good as that in, say, the Warframe. People in Warframe, from what I hear, are generally more helpful.
Yeah.
And less trolling.
Well, Rocket League's more competitive, and I don't think Warframe's really competitive, right? It's more cooperative, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I will say with these games, we are experiencing new forms of multiplayer that we don't really see on a Nintendo platform, like with Warframe in particular. You can have it public, and people will just drop into your party, and then after the mission they may leave, or they can stay with you for a while. And it's just a different atmosphere, and different than anything we've seen on Nintendo that I can recall.
Yeah, some of my best memories in recent years have been with these free to plays, so I hope more of them come on.
Yeah.
And to sort of tie this into our holiday theme here, if you are buying a console for someone, or if maybe they only have the one game at Christmas, which I know we've all been there in that spot, there's these great free-to-play games. And if you're the kind of parent or gift giver who opens up the console and loads stuff onto it and does all the updates, download some of these free-to-play games. They'll have something extra to play when they open it on Christmas.
Or even some demos.
Yeah.
My daughter has gotten lots of usage out of the Pokken Tournament demo. She's plays the Captain Toad demo. She's more than happy to play some demos for a little bit of time. So yeah, and that's what there's a lot of demos too in the eShop. So I mean, you can go through and use that in selecting their next game possibly.
And we do have a little bit of a broader window. It seems to be easier on the Switch than in previous generations to have accounts for other regions, and it's really easy. You can look up online to open up an account for Japan, and you get access to more demos, which a lot of them offer English support, or you don't really need the English. You can, work your way through what's going on.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you've already got the best free-to-play game, YouTube, recently. So
That's
That's
right.
right.
that's there too.
Someday
There's
we'll.
nice free stuff.
I can't believe there's still no streaming services before Christmas. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Stay
Such is
tuned for
Netflix.
E3 2019.
In Warframe recently, I noticed if you click on one of their mail messages, which is like from the developer telling you about events and things, it takes you to a web browser, and it's like, we don't have access to this. This is just so crazy to think.
Yeah.
It exists, but we can't access this.
Rocket League does that. It'll take you, their news section will take you to a web browser page that you can see, but you can't click off of it.
Some of their articles, some of them just say this isn't supported right now. But yeah, some of them will take you to a browser page and let you read.
I was trying to relink my Facebook account the other day and ended up just logging into Facebook and checking my messages. So that works.
All right. Well, thank you again for tuning into another 12 days of Nintendo. So be sure and tune in tomorrow. We're going to have some more varied topics coming up. So hopefully you'll enjoy.